Hey there guys, Alex here from SPP, and today we're going to be talking about how you can create the ultimate pricing strategy for your agency. Let's get into it. A pricing strategy is a critical component of any kind of business. It helps you achieve your goals, whether that be increasing your profit, gaining market share, or even establishing yourself as a premium brand. To start, let's take a look at the different types of pricing strategies that businesses use. Depending on your objective, target audience, and competition, you may want to choose one of these strategies or a combination of them. Value-based pricing is a strategy where you set your prices based on the perceived value of your brand and service delivery. The beauty of this strategy is that it works whether you offer one-off services or recurring services. All that matters is the quality of the services that you're providing. Cost-plus pricing is the simplest method to set up your product's price. What you do is add a fixed percentage to the production cost of every product. Let's contextualize this with a very simple example. Let's say you're selling sandwiches and it costs you $5 to make each sandwich. With a 50% profit margin, you'd want to sell these sandwiches at $7.5 each. If you choose the competitive pricing strategy, you'll align the prices of your products to that of your competitors. This is mostly used in oversaturated markets where many people are selling the same product. With hourly pricing, you're trading your time for money by billing your customers a fixed fee for every hour spent on the project. Keep in mind that you'll need to estimate how many hours a project is going to take and include that in your proposal beforehand. As the name suggests, performance-based pricing is a pricing strategy where you get paid based on the delivery and the results of the product or the service that you're selling. This strategy is quite popular in the online advertising world, where a vendor could agree to get paid based on the amount of leads that their work generates. Project-based pricing is the complete opposite of the hourly pricing we discussed earlier. Here, instead of trading your time for money, you're setting a fixed fee for every project that's being done. This is usually recommended for bigger companies that have done money projects before and know how to estimate how long it would take to complete a project. Unlike other pricing methods where your fees or rates are known ahead of time, the dynamic pricing strategy relies on variability. What you're basically doing is selling the same products or services at different prices based on the circumstance. A very good example of this are ride-hailing applications such as Uber, where the price increases based on the demand. Companies using the penetration pricing strategy are targeting to become the leader in their segment. This works really well for VC-backed businesses where they have enough money to spend on marketing. The introduced price is usually lower than that of their competition, forcing them to make changes to their business strategy. The idea behind price skimming is to do extensive market research to figure out what is the highest amount that the ideal customer is willing to pay for this type of service. Once you've built a solid customer base with this strategy, you reduce your prices gradually over time to capture a more price-sensitive segment. This strategy is the exact opposite of the previously mentioned penetration pricing strategy. Buyer personas are simply documented profiles for the type of customers that you want to target for your product. The best way to do this is to have a clear image of who your target audience is. In a Google Sheets or Documents file, document the different types of prospects that are most likely to turn into customers for you. There are different types of ways to classify these personas, from team size, budget, team roles, and industry. Write down everything you know about these prospects so you're able to define the optimal price for them. You might know a lot of things about your buyers, however, it's not enough to assume that these things are true, so you're going to have to talk to your customer base to validate these assumptions. There are a few pieces of information in particular that you want to validate regarding pricing. Starting with demographic data, in a B2B environment, this could mean the size of the team and the roles of your ideal customer persona. Next up is the relative value of products and features. Are you clear on what your different audience segments want out of your product? One way to find out is to set up a survey and ask your personas to choose which features are the most important to them. After that is service or product packaging. You know that the buyer persona A wants this set of features and functionalities, so you can include them in a specific pricing package. And most importantly is pricing data. There are 3 sets of questions that are important to get your pricing data. Ask your customer base the following questions. At what point is the product so expensive that you would never even consider purchasing it? At what point is it still expensive but you would consider purchasing it? At what point does it become a fantastic deal? And at what point would it be so cheap that you would question the quality of the product? Note that when I say customer base, I don't mean existing customers exclusively. Your customer base should include your existing customers as well as leads that have heard of your brand and leads that haven't heard of your brand but fit your personas. Once you compare the collected information, you start to get a sense for what different buyers are interested in. This will help you see the bigger picture, especially their willingness to pay for different services, allowing you to set up the ideal pricing. To do that, try to look for the biggest differences between each consumer. However, this isn't super simple. Sometimes there might not be significant differences between your different personas. In that case, use consumption-based tactics to define the proper pricing strategy for your products or services. This is rather popular among productized services that rely on a monthly recurring subscription. The cheapest plan could allow you to make up to 4 requests a month, while the premium plan could allow you to make unlimited requests. This step is about making your pricing strategy a part of the standardized process. Pricing analysis is when you examine your current pricing against the demands in the market. You're assessing if the pricing of your product or service is fair and reasonable. Here's how to conduct a pricing analysis step by step. You'll want to have a sense for what it costs to create your product, account for fixed prices as well as variable prices, and subtract them from the overall price that you've set for your product. You can't get your pricing right if you ignore your customers, and the same thing applies to conducting a pricing analysis regularly. Organize surveys, questionnaires, and focus groups for your customer base to figure out how they think and what they'd be willing to pay for your services. Compare your prices to those of your competitors. Direct competitors offer the same service or product as you do, and they might even have the same value proposition as you. Try to figure out what kind of pricing strategy they use to figure out their pricing. Which pricing strategy is the best? There's no one-size-fits-all strategy for every business model, but for an agency, we recommend that you try hourly pricing, value-based pricing, or project-based pricing. What is the simplest pricing strategy to use? Cost Plus is the simplest pricing strategy to try out. You just have to add a percentage-based markup to your product cost. How do you determine the selling price of a product? You can determine a price for your product by using the strategies and tips. The crucial thing is to create a pricing strategy that helps your product grow. The key takeaway here is to not skim over the process of setting prices for your services. Pricing is an important lever on which your agency is going to grow, so it's important to be backed by proper research. A proper product pricing strategy will require you deeply understand and validate your assumptions about your potential clients. Come up with pricing packages that capture the value that your services offer, and create a structure for conducting regular pricing analysis. If you follow all of these instructions, you're going to have a much greater chance at building a thriving agency. If you need a client portal to help you streamline your business, check out SPP in the description down below, and thank you so much for watching.